the beauty of growing plants to eat in our garden. Not just plants to eat, but your flowers as well, because you have to have that. This is going to be not one of my typical videos, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about the joy, the satisfaction, the pleasure of having a garden and growing food, growing plants like strawberries that we enjoy so much, or cucumbers, or like you see over here, peppers and beans. These are one of the things about growing is that it's not always perfect. This is a bean plant that sprouted recently, but it looked like something began to nibble at it. And that's part of growing. It doesn't always work out perfectly, but the journey is truly one that is truly pleasurable. And it's not something I think you truly understand until you start doing it yourself. I've always liked growing things. I've always loved plants as long as I can remember. I remember growing my first, planting corn for the first time when I was about 4 years old, and watching them come up out of the ground was truly a wonderful experience. In the 7 years plus that I've been growing in this garden, there are some things that I have learned about growing, and it's not so much about the aesthetics of what you're growing, but um, it's about growing what you enjoy seeing come up out of the ground and picking. And I would say, as someone who has grown for quite a while, I'm very good at planting, not very good at reaping. But the essentials for having a garden are three things I find primarily. It's soil, good earth, sunshine, and water. Those three essentials. Of course, there are others, but those three are very essential to having a really good garden. And although you might not have perfect soil, you can still manage to eke out some growing or some productivity out of it. I truly encourage you to try your hand at growing a garden. It's an experience that I think you will truly enjoy, and that it will be a learning experience for you as well. And it doesn't have to be expensive either. Some people say, oh, but what about buying fertilizer and this and that? You don't have to do all of that. I'll show you. I don't really use that much fertilizer. I usually use a lot of compost. You can compost more easily than you think. Um, I'll show you my compost bin over here. This is my compost bin. This is something that we actually got very inexpensive from our city here in Bowie, Maryland. They were selling these to residents of Bowie at a very economic price, and I got one. See, these are all scraps from my kitchen that I just put in here as I collect them, and over time, this compost is very beneficial to my garden. It's my primary source of well, those are my hostas, looking kind of beat up, but they're doing okay. But yeah, composting is very important because it allows you to use stuff that would otherwise go in the trash, and it becomes nutrients for your plants. So over here we have some eggplant going next to some beets. These were donated from my uncle. The beets were, and I bought these eggplants. So this year I'm growing a lot of things that I like to eat: tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers, eggplant. So I'm gonna have a lot of peppers this year because I'm growing quite a few pepper plants and quite a few tomato plants, and I have some bean plants that are coming in as well. And it's good to do these videos to chronicle and kind of vlog the progress so that you can see how things started out very small, and hopefully later on in the season I'll do another video and you'll see how these plants just take on a life of their own. We're in the month of June, and typically we would be further along, but we've had an unusually cool May this year, and it's still fairly cool for June, the month of June. But once the heat kicks in, the heat of summer and the rains, you will see that these plants will they will just double in size in a very short period of time. This is a strawberry patch I started maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and this started out with about 4 or 5 plants, and look how it's filling in. It's not fully filled in yet, but I've harvested so much strawberries out of this patch, and they are sweet and delicious. But truly, gardening is truly an incredible hobby. It's something I hope one day that I can do full time. When I say full time, I mean I don't have to do a job. I can actually have a much bigger space and grow a lot more food for self consumption, and maybe for to give away, and maybe even some to sell to certain entities or people who are interested in organic, healthy grown food. In my garden, I try to use as much of the available space as I can. I even grow in pots, as you can see over there. I have cucumber and tomato here in these pots. And actually, I'm trying this year, I'm growing some muscadine. I planted some muscadine seeds in there, so we'll see if those seeds sprout. I just planted those yesterday, so we'll see how those come out. And one of the plants I also use for beautification, attracting pollinators, and to ward off pests are marigolds. You'll hear a lot of gardeners talk about using marigolds. And I've also planted some basil. Those are good for that as well. Go over to here to our next area. This is a new area that I started using 2 years ago to grow. It was just another part of the lawn, but I just said, hey, let me turn this, and you can see some of the lawn is unwilling to give up and is still holding on there. But yeah, we have a cucumber over there, and we have a pepper, another marigold, tomato, another pepper, and a marigold. So we're gonna see how these come in, and enjoy this growing season in Amali Gardens. Just wanted to do this quick video, a little different from my usual format, but if you haven't started your garden, hopefully this can be somewhat of an encouragement. Just get started. It doesn't have to be as many beds as these, but even if you start off with a small bed somewhere in your garden, or even in pots, the joy of growing food that you can eat, but not only eat for yourself, but that you can share with your neighbors, share with your coworkers or family members. It's truly a great feeling, a great experience to do that. So from Amali Gardens, this is the month of June. We're in early June, and we're looking forward to a great growing season of growing and eating from what we're planting. So until next video, you guys enjoy your weekend, or your week, or your evening, or your day, and keep growing.